Hey, welcome back to Cosmic Road, where I discuss UFOs and the paranormal. Today I've got a really exciting topic to discuss with you, the new Pentagon program, ASRO, which is like the biggest thing ever to hit the UFO community. An actual government program looking into UFOs in the public eye. So this is going to be really fascinating to watch unfold. And here is an article discussing some of the merits and demerits of it. This is from The Sun, so let's go over it and I'll give you my thoughts. Before I get too far into it, please hit like, please subscribe, and as I'm talking about it, please comment below and let me know what you think about all this. Okay, like I said, this is from The Sun. The Pentagon is opening a new office to investigate UFOs, but not everyone is convinced by the idea. U.S. officials signed off on the crack team of UFO specialists late last year. It's designed to uncover and identify UFOs, some of which may be considered threats to national security. The dedicated unit is called the Anomaly Surveillance and Resolution Office. Well, they're saying ARSO. I think they mean ASRO because the S comes before the R. But whatever. It will probe whether or not the strange craft that have been reportedly buzzing the U.S. military are unknown technology from Russia and China or potentially something more alien. And of course, if we know it's not Russia and China, they've even admitted that it's not Russia and China. But some think the new Pentagon UFO office won't change anything. Critics have warned that the government will simply conceal any major findings and that UFO investigations have been ongoing for years anyway. Of course they have. Mutual UFO Network spokesman Ron James warned that the public is unlikely to find out about any evidence of alien interference. Oh, by the way, speaking of MUFON, I have co-founded a chapter of MUFON. So I'm now going to be part of MUFON and running my own MUFON group here in the Brazos Valley in Texas. So if you are in Texas, look us up. Love to see you at our meetings. This is a subject with a provable history of secrecy, said James, speaking to NBC, and anything that lacks a new openness about the information is subject to more, possibly inappropriate control. James added, we don't see that this means new resources will be dedicated to the matter. We believe considerable resources have always been dedicated to the matter at some level inside deep government and industry. And U.S. Congressman Tim Burchett tweeted in reply to the news with stark criticism. We never should trust the Pentagon, the lawmakers said. They will never tell us the full story on the UFO issue. Others have hailed the legislation. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand led the introduction of the new measure and says it's important for the safety of U.S. citizens. Our national security efforts rely on aerial supremacy, and these phenomena present a challenge to our dominance. The United States needs a coordinated effort to take control and understand whether these aerial phenomena belong to a foreign government or something else altogether. Now, remember, because this is this is going to be in the Defense Department or Defense Department adjacent, possibly. It is important that this phenomenon be a potential threat because that is how they get their funding. It is the Defense Department. They don't fund anything unless it's for defense. So it's unfortunate that they're framing it in that way. And ideally, I don't think this should be something done by the Defense Department. This should be handled by a scientist or somebody else. But that's who's doing it. That's who's able to get it funded and who's able to study it. So, we're just going to have to accept that for the moment and hope that it gets transferred somewhere else at some point, or there is a new program open in some other part of the government or outside of the government. But I think that a lot of people won't take it seriously unless it is from the government, despite the government being what it is currently. The office will be set up jointly between the Department of Defense and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Yeah, this is what I was saying. It's the Department of Defense adjacent. And it is, also going to be with the DNI, which is very interesting because they have been involved in all of this from the very beginning. It is my understanding that it was a DNI agent that was at Skinwalker Ranch. They got the whole ball rolling as far as getting the Pentagon involved in studying Skinwalker Ranch, which led to OSAP and E.T.s and ultimately to the creation of this new office. So ARSO, or actually ASRO, they keep on misspelling it. ASRO will seek to investigate the technical and operational characteristics, origins, and intentions of UFOs. I love that. They're going to investigate intentions. The UFO office will have the power to send out X-Files-esque teams to allow for rapid response and field investigations of UFOs. It will also provide briefings on any efforts to capture or exploit the phenomena and also assess health-related effects for those who have encountered the objects. Further detail on these attempts to capture or exploit UFOs is absent, and it's unclear exactly what this refers to as it lists the phrase and what will be included in its annual report to Congress. The office will also compile connections between UFOs and nuclear weapons, something that's suspected to be a key flashpoint for whatever is in the skies. Yeah, they are very interested in our nuclear weapons and our nuclear capabilities in general. You know, that is one commonality of the UFO sightings in our military, around our military ships, like the Nimitz and the Roosevelt. As far as I know, those don't have nuclear weapons on them, although I could be mistaken on that. Please fact check me. Some of the planes, could be nuclear-bearing planes. I don't know. But I do know that those aircraft carriers are nuclear-powered vessels. So, very interesting. And of course, maybe some of the submarines that are part of those aircraft carrier battle groups have nuclear weapons on them. So, yeah, I would love more details on that. If anybody in the chat knows that, please comment and let me know. The term extraterrestrial or alien is not mentioned in the lengthy amendment, which was tabled by Democrat lawmaker Kirsten Gillibrand and backed by Republican heavyweight and potential presidential candidate Marco Rubio. However, the office will acknowledge the transmedium nature of the phenomena, objects which appear to move between space, the Earth's atmosphere, and even under the sea. Many reports state that UFOs have been witnessed emerging from or plunging into the ocean, sparking speculation about the link between the objects and the ocean. In some of the most high-profile encounters, such as the USS Nimitz incident, saw UFOs sighted by pilots near U.S. warships. Lou Elizondo, head of the former UFO investigation unit E.T.s, welcomed the move. He told The Sun, "This historic bill is not only good for the American people, but it is a bill that history will show to be beneficial to the world." Mr. Elizondo added he is currently in Washington, D.C., working to support the amendment alongside former intelligence official Christopher Mellon. Yes, and it's very interesting that Christopher Mellon put out a tweet recently speculating publicly why Lou has not been invited to head this new program. So was that the plan all along, was to spark the creation of this new Pentagon program and then have Lou head it, just as he did E.T.s. It comes after the U.S.'s top spy chief, Avril Haines, the DNI, admitted it is a consideration for intelligence services that the mystery objects may have come from outer space. The landmark Pentagon report of the objects released over the summer, now more commonly known as unidentified aerial phenomena, admitted there is something unknown in the skies. It is not more commonly known as U.A.P. Most people still call them UFOs, but that is the rebranding effort calling them UAP to ditch the baggage of the past, because the government has a lot to answer for in regard to suppressing the UFO issue, but they can claim not to have as much, to answer for with UAPs, since UAPs have just come into existence. Yeah. ARSO or ASRO will produce annual reports on the matter up until at least 2026, which will have both classified and unclassified sections for Congress. Presumably, the unclassified sections will be, the public will be allowed to see those. I don't think that has been announced, but one can speculate that that would be the case, just as it was for the UAP task force. It will dissolve the temporary UAP task force that was set up to deal with the Pentagon report, which was released in June. ARSO or ASRO will develop standardized procedures to report and investigate UFOs to allow the U.S. to understand what they are dealing with. The office will also create a centralized database of UFO encounters. And perhaps key, it will evaluate the threat that such incidents pose to the United States while also consulting with their allies. So it's going to be more of a global effort. Gillibrand's amendment, as well as being supported by Rubio, is also backed by Democrat Senator Martin Heinrich and Republican lawmakers Lindsey Graham and Roy Blunt. In other news, whatever. Okay, so that's the end of the article. But it's only the beginning of the speculation. Of course, my major interest in this, or my major speculation, is how this new program, ASRO, is going to mesh or not mesh, conflict or what have you, with the existing efforts to, delve into the UFO issue. How is this going to work with Area 51? How is this going to work with MJ12 if it exists? With the control group, with the breakaway civilization? The government has been into all this stuff for a long ass time. The Men in Black existed at Roswell, so they were into this before Roswell. And that's a whole other subject, how far back they go. But so the government has been suppressing the UFO issue while secretly developing UFO technology, potentially even working with the visitors forever. How are they going to work with or not work with, possibly subvert or undermine ASRO? So if ASRO is trying to retrieve technology or ships, if there is a UFO crash and they go to retrieve it, how are the Area 51 guys? How are they going to handle that? Is it going to be a race to each crash? Or, as I suspect, maybe they'll have their own agents in ASRO, and they will try to subvert everything that ASRO does. So what do you think about that? How is Area 51 and or whatever you want to call it, the control group, Breakaways of Civilization, MJ12, how are those guys going to deal with ASRO? Is it going to be a competition to each crash? Or are they actively going to try to undermine them? Or is ASRO all a smokescreen, just like Blue Book was, and trying to placate the masses while secretly Area 51 and those guys are still exploiting this technology and engaging in their own breakaway civilization? And that breakaway civilization is a phrase by Richard Dolan, which I think accurately represents what is going on to a certain extent, because it is a large group, apparently, that has been dealing with the stuff for a long time, and they have a whole different technology level than the rest of the world, supposedly. So, anyway, what do you think about all of this? Do you think that the Area 51 is going to work well with ASRO, or are they going to actively try to subvert them and sabotage them, or just misdirect them, or suppress any findings that they uncover? I am very curious how that is all going to shake out. Maybe, who knows, the people at ASRO will actually uncover what is really going on deep in the government, if they are actually trying to get to the bottom of all of this, and they will uncover the truth of Area 51 and or the breakaway civilization and expose the shenanigans that have been going on. So I will say to that, I think that the truth needs to come out, and for the truth to come out, it would be very helpful if the people involved in the shenanigans, and I use that term lightly, but there have been some very shady things that have gone on over the years, seemingly, suppressing this topic while secretly developing their own technology and their own interest and agendas, possibly in relationship and in tandem with the beings themselves, or at least some subset of the beings themselves. So they've been working on this stuff forever, in a deep, deep level, possibly even secret space fleet stuff. Who knows? But they need permission to come out and speak about this. So that's why they have rebranded UFOs into U.A.Ps. They're trying to have bring this whole subject into a new light. And I think that the only way to move forward on this is to give them, these people that have been involved in this shady shit, amnesty. Whether they deserve it or not, I think a lot of those people involved in this would really like to come forward and tell the world the truth about what is really going on, but they can't. Not only because of NDAs and the secrecy involved in those operations, but because they don't want to be held liable or responsible, criminally responsible for what they have done. So I think it is necessary, if we're going to move the subject forward, to offer amnesty to these people involved in this black world of UFOs. I don't see any other way to get to the truth of it than to allow them to come forward without fear of criminal prosecution. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it, guys. What do you think about all of this? This is highly interesting stuff. I love talking about it. I can't wait to see where this is going. And as always, please give this video a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think is really the truth of ASRO in its relationship to the black world of UFOs, the underground MJ-12, Area 51 kind of stuff. How is this above ground stuff going to work with the underground stuff? Are they going to conflict? Are they going to work together? Are they going to cancel each other out? What's the deal? Also, please hit the subscribe button. And if you do hit the subscribe button, please hit the bell next to it to be notified of future videos. And as always, I would really love it if you could share this video on social media with your friends. I'm trying to grow this channel. I can't grow it without your help. And it would be, very encouraging for me to get some more subscribers so I can make more videos. Of course, let me know what kind of videos you would like to see in the comments below. Until next time, Cosmic Road out.